From a station working for you, this is breaking news from WRTV.
Investigators in reference to 8951 Maribel Road. Be advised, another caller heard 10 shots from near the front of the entrance. Caller says possibly from inside. No further seen or heard. Less than 1 minute ago.
We continue to follow a horrific scene on the city's southwest side. 8 people killed by an active shooting at a FedEx ground facility near the airport. Thank you for joining us. I'm Megan Shin on this tough and tragic morning. We'll check in for your weather and traffic update with Todd Clausen in just a few minutes. But first, we need to check in with our Rafael Sanchez to get us up to speed on this still developing mass shooting in the city's southwest side. Raf.
Megan, people running for cover, people running for their lives. Chaos and fear overtook this scene, and when the gunfire was over, 8 people were found dead. I can tell you right now that police remain on the scene investigating this situation here at the FedEx ground building here on the city's southwest side. Let me show you exactly where we are reporting this morning. This situation continues to unfold as we continue to follow this breaking news story right here on WRTV. We are on the 8,000 block of Maribel Road. We're just about 3 miles away from Indianapolis International Airport. From here to the airport is just an 8-minute drive. But from this location where this is now unfolding, of course, people began calling 911 for help. Shortly after 11 p.m., police receiving calls from not only inside the building but outside, also receiving calls from the interstate system, people reporting that there was a situation unfolding inside of this building. We can also tell you from what sources are telling me that people inside the building were just hiding. They were in any place that they could, underneath the conveyor belts, in any corner of the building that they could, as they heard those gunshots erupt inside of that building. In the end, police are telling WRTV investigates that the suspect died by suicide. They are describing what they say a weapon was found by the man's body. That weapon is being described to WRTV investigates as a long gun. We'll continue to follow those developments throughout the morning as this story continues to unfold. Our focus is not only on the investigation. That's just part of the story. Our bigger focus is on the people, the families. And with that part of our coverage, now let's turn to WRTV's Troy Washington. Troy, what can you tell us?
Well, for those that are just joining us, we're here at the Holiday Inn Express on Stansted, and if you do have a loved one who works at that FedEx facility and you haven't heard from them, they want you to come here. They're actually answering a lot of the questions here, and maybe they can kind of guide you in the right direction. Now, for hours, a lot of the family members were here. They were waiting for answers just to find out what was going on with their loved ones, or even to learn if they were okay. So a lot of them showed up here at that Holiday Inn Express. It's near the airport on Stansted. If you're still looking for your loved one, they want you to come here. Maybe they can help lead you in the right direction or give you some answers. Now, as soon as I showed up around 1 a.m., I talked with the grandmother. She was in her car, and she was clearly worried as she started to tell me that she, on the way here, prayed the entire drive. Here's what she had to say.
I was listening to on the radio on her phone. I was putting on my clothes as soon as I heard it, and she was coming down the stairs. We got to go, we got to go, we got to go, we got to go. I didn't ask her why. I just got my stuff and got in, and she told me. I said, oh, my God. So we're here to see. I hope, God, that he's not injured, and I hope a whole lot of other people are not injured either, but we don't know.
Now, a lot of these relatives, they have been waiting here for hours, and a lot of that started around midnight. A lot of people coming in here to the hotel, pacing, praying, worrying, wondering, just wanting some answers to their questions. And as we continue to learn more about these victims, I'm sure that we'll continue to learn more about some of the people who have not even been accounted for. Like I said, there's an investigation going on, and some of those employees were still being questioned. But here at the hotel, they've been fielding a lot of calls from people who are calling here and inquiring about where they should go and how they should get any answers to their questions. So again, I just want people to know, if you are searching for your loved one, they want you to come here to Stansted near the airport, the Holiday Inn Express. Back to you, Rafael.
A What heartbreak, what worry for so many families. And of course, Troy, we will keep on top of this developing situation with the families. Troy, thank you so much for that. You know, the big question this morning is, who is the guy behind this mass shooting? And I have to tell you, working our sources, we don't have a name just yet. But you can imagine that in the next several hours or so, police will release that information. This remains an active investigation. And Kelsey, we've been watching social media. We've been watching our Twitter feeds and Facebook. That's the biggest question. Who is responsible? We just don't know a name just yet.
That's right, Raphael. We've put out several tweets this morning giving people updates. And the number one response we're getting is, who is it? And again, that's just something we don't know right now. The only thing we do know is that the gunman is a male. That's all we know. So we're expecting to hear more later from IMPD. We've had 2 press conferences so far. The first one at 1 a.m. and that was just 2 hours after the first 911 call. That's when Officer Janae Cook told us very little information. She just said that there was an active scene and that the alleged gunman had killed himself. So that's all we knew at 1 o'clock. Then at 3 o'clock, we heard more from Janae Cook, and she tells us that there were 8 victims here pronounced dead at the scene with gunshot wounds. Several people transported to the hospital, others treated here at the scene by emergency services. And then they're also getting reports of walk-ins at different hospitals in 3 different counties, because we're in a very unique spot where we're very close to several different counties. So they're trying to, account for everybody, get their statements and see, what they saw, what they heard, and what they know. But she says right now it's time for the community to support everyone involved.
You got to look for a way to support each other, whether it's your neighbor, the guy down the street, your family member. That's where you have to start at, and you just keep supporting each other, and it'll always get better.
So again, if you work here at this FedEx facility and are expecting to go to work tomorrow, Officer Cook suggests you call your supervisor first. She says the building will be closed for quite some time as the investigation continues. She also told us during that press conference to be thinking about these officers that went in that building as well. Those people inside and the officers saw things that she says no one should ever have to see. So again, keeping all of them in our thoughts this morning and again, supporting them. We also, again, we don't know who that suspect is. We don't know that information, but we are expecting a press conference later this morning. We don't know a time yet, but we will bring that update to you right here on WRTV and of course on our social medias and online. But for now, we'll bring it back to Raphael out here outside the FedEx facility.
Kelsey, we are committed to bringing people the best information, the facts. This is a lot of information coming at us, overwhelming this morning, but we will not get ahead of the story. As we get the facts, we will share them with you. And of course, our thoughts this morning, Megan, are with the families. What do you say to those 8 families? What can be said? Their family members, they came to work last night. They were expecting to see them at some point this morning. And of course, they will not be coming home. And it's with the families that we stand this morning. And as soon as we get more information, of course, we will pass that along. Again, 8 people dead here on the city's southwest side. This could turn out to be the biggest mass shooting in Indianapolis history. The last one was back in 2006. And Megan, I covered that one as well. That was the Hamilton Avenue murders. That involved 7 people, including 3 children. And I can still remember that day as it was yesterday. On that day, it was raining. And I can always remember the body bags that came out. And I only point that out because this is traumatic. And the trauma is real for those people that work in this building, that come to work every day, put in their heart and soul with their employer, and then they want to get back home. And so what we will see over the next couple of days will be the need for mental health help for these workers who will see images, as the Metro Police described. The scene inside that building is something that no one should see. So those are the kinds of things we'll be talking about, and we'll provide resources throughout the day here at WRTV and WRTV.com, resources that you may want to share with your friends and family, that they may want to consider as they try to sort of process this moment, because this moment, as we are focused not only on those 8 families, and their mourning and just their loss, but we're also focused on the many people. I'm told that at one point there may have been 100 people that had to be evacuated from that building. One can't even begin to imagine what they saw and what they processed. We'll continue to follow this developing story throughout the day right here on WRTV. Rafael Sanchez, now back to you in Studio A.
And Rafael, just a quick question for you. It shakes your sense of safety to the core. So how is the feeling out there? You're one of the first few people out there on the scene.
Well, I think, all of us go to work every morning. We go to work. We hope to clock in at some point. We hope to clock out. And if there's a little bit of overtime, we'll take a little overtime. But we want to be back with our families. We want to have lunch or dinner, whatever that may be for you, right? Whatever your truth may be. And I think that is shaken today when you think about the fact that this building here, with a lot of surveillance cameras, security, how could this happen, right? And so that'll be the big question that investigators will be looking at over the next couple of hours. Now back to you.
Thank you so much, Ralph, and stay safe out there. And FedEx has issued a statement on the situation, saying in part, quote, "Safety is our top priority and our thoughts are with all of those who are affected. We are working to gather more information and are cooperating with investigating authorities." Indiana Congressman Andre Carson also releasing a statement overnight, saying in part, "I am heartbroken by the mass shooting here in Indianapolis and praying for all affected by this tragedy." Congressman Carson went on to say he's working with local authorities to learn more and is standing by to help anyone affected. More on this tragic situation after this break. And actually, we'll continue.
And I wasn't in the facility where it happened, but being within the FedEx, area or in the vicinity, it was very just nerve-wracking. Were they going to come to our job, or what was going to go on? It's a lot to process.
We continue to follow breaking news from the southwest side of Indianapolis. A mass shooting here outside of the FedEx ground building on the 8,000 block of Mirabel Road on the southwest side of Indianapolis. The gunman, we're told, died by suicide. And just moments ago, Metro Police releasing some new information, again confirming that 8 people were killed in this mass shooting, and now confirming that 5 people were injured by gunshots. They were injured by gunshots, 2 taken to local hospitals to be treated for serious injuries. We should also point out that this shooting began sometime after 11 o'clock last night here on the city's southwest side. Again, 8 people dead, 5 people injured, and the gunman died by suicide. We'll continue to follow this developing story, breaking news right here from the southwest side throughout the morning. Megan, now back to you.
We know it's an ongoing investigation. Police ask for your patience as they continue to investigate, and to call if you have any tips. That number is 317-262-TIPS. And thanks, Raphael, once again. It has been a deadly year so far in Indianapolis. So let's take a look back. In January, a teenage suspect shot and killed 4 members of his family, his brother's girlfriend, and her unborn child also included. Raymond Ronald Lee Childs III faces 6 counts of murder. And a 15-year-old survivor says Childs got into an argument with his father because he left home without permission and would be in trouble later on. And working for you, after multiple mass shootings this year, we looked into how our local police department is training to respond to something like this in our community. And this is a story we told you just last month. For the last several years, all IMPD recruits have been receiving extensive training in active killer situations. And districts also have ongoing trainings. Officers are constantly implementing actual scenarios that have happened around the country, so they're prepared for naturally anything. And they use role players to come in and create chaos, firing simunition rounds at officers. Those are similar to paintballs.
Use one active killer, maybe 2, it may be multiple, and then to train our officers that there is a way to tactically go about doing this. It's not a free-for-all.
There's no national standard at this time for how police departments respond to active shooters. IMPD says their officers are trained to go directly after the threat, and that could mean moving past critically injured victims, at least at first. And if you are ever in an active shooter situation, IMPD recommends the following. The best thing you can do is run and keep running until you're out of harm's way. Then call 911. The more people that call, the better. And if you can't run, hide. Hide inside a room and barricade the door. If you're outside, get behind something that will stop bullets, such as a large car or large tree, and prepare to fight. IMPD suggests grabbing a chair, looking for a fire extinguisher or something to strike the shooter if they attack. And many schools and other organizations use a safety training system called ALICE. It's an acronym for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, Evacuate. Alert is when you first become aware of a threat. The sooner you understand that you're in danger, the sooner you can save yourself. If evacuating is not a safe option, the next step is locking down by barricading your room. Inform means continuing to communicate as much as possible in real time. That includes things like sharing video surveillance, including 911, and making PA announcements. Encountering should be last resort and is taught as creating distractions to decrease the shooter's accuracy. And finally, evacuate. Remove yourself from the danger zone when it's safe to do so. And you can find more on the ALICE active shooter training by visiting alicetraining.com. And we'll continue to check in with our crews for an update on the very latest here. Stick with us throughout the morning and find the very latest information on this breaking news situation at WRTV.com. And on this Friday, time now is 6:18. Todd, let's get a check of the forecast.
All right, the forecast is in pretty good shape here this morning. It's chilly, there's no doubt about that. You'll need the jacket as you walk out the door, as once again, temperatures are in the 30s. We have one more day tomorrow to start off with temperatures in the 30s. Then we'll be a little bit better as far as low temperatures go. It's fairly dry in this forecast until next week, even though there is the chance of just a few very, very spotty showers in this forecast as we work our way into the weekend. More on that in just a second. But here is the clear skies. You can notice as you look to the north, sky's just starting to brighten a little bit, and we'll have a beautiful sunrise with just a few fair high weather clouds to the north and then off to the east. But most of the central Indiana this morning is nice and clear, and the morning hours today are going to be the brightest part of the day. As we get into the afternoon hours, the clouds are going to start to increase from west to east out ahead of this next storm system that's already spreading some rain into southern Missouri. Now, the bulk of that rainfall, that is going to pass down to our south. We're just going to get a little bit of a glancing blow from that tomorrow morning with the opportunity for a few very, very light showers. But on TrueCast today, as we walk you through the day hour by hour, you notice partly cloudy skies this morning. There's just a little more in the way of cloud cover building in this afternoon and into the evening hours, but the rain holds off. So it's Friday. You might have plans to be out and about this evening, maybe dinner, and you'll be just fine. Don't have to worry about any precipitation heading our way. Now this morning, here are those temperatures. Look at Greenfield, now down below freezing at 31 degrees, 37 in Indy, 33 in Peru. Richmond currently at 34 degrees, and from Bloomington to Bedford, we're down into the mid-30s. The jacket's needed, but today, unlike yesterday, we have the clear skies this morning, and look how the temperatures really start to moderate very quickly throughout the morning hours. In fact, by late morning, we're into the low 50s and the mid 50s by the time we get to the noon hour. And then high temperatures today are going to top off generally in northern locations right around 60 degrees. Frankfurt at 59, 63 in Lafayette, 60, 61 in Indianapolis, Martinsville right around 63 degrees, and then 62 to 63 in a lot of our southern locations as well. And that's just a degree or two below normal for this time of year. So really it's a nice Friday despite us losing a little bit of sunshine as the day goes on. This evening we're in the 50s, and then for the day tomorrow, you wake to temperatures very similar to this morning in the low to mid 30s across the area with partly to mostly cloudy skies. And then throughout the day tomorrow, more clouds in the morning than sunshine, although the clouds should start to break apart a little bit as we work our way into the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. But as far as the rain goes, there will be the opportunity for just a few spotty showers sneaking in here before sunrise tomorrow. They're all very light. If you see them, they're not going to last very long, and it's mainly just from Terre Haute to Greensburg and points down to the south as the bulk of that storm system stays across parts of Kentucky as well as Tennessee. But it will usher in some cooler temperatures. We'll continue to average below normal as we push throughout the remainder of the week. And take a look at your 7-day planning forecast, and you can see that as we work our way into the middle of next week, high temperatures may struggle to get into the low 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then behind that system, low temperatures back into the 30s for Wednesday and Thursday morning. So enjoy a little bit of a warm up on Monday. It's by far the best day in this planning forecast. 6:22 is the time. We're back in just a couple minutes on Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us, and we'll see you then.
Welcome back. We know that chaplains play a big role when it comes to responding to such tragedies as the mass shooting here in Indianapolis. We know that there are several of them now working with the families and helping them as they go through this process that we're all dealing with in our community. So I want to bring in on the phone with us this morning is Chaplain Bob Osler. And Bob, we met actually at the Virginia Beach mass shooting at the Municipal Center number 2. So it's similar where, you know, this is a workplace shooting, this one taking place at a FedEx here in Indianapolis. So I have a couple questions as far as advice for the community, because there's going to be a lot of healing that's needed. So talk about responding to these scenes as a chaplain, because you've been to numerous scenes from Pittsburgh to Virginia Beach to Dallas.
Well, yes, responding to a scene like this as a chaplain, you have to go there very prayerfully and with an open heart. When you get to these situations, you want to be there to just listen to people because they're very in fear. They're just frozen with anxiety. Things like that happen with these folks. And when I usually talk to a community, I try to get them to go to any of the things where people get together and decompress with counselors, with crowds, candlelight vigils, that kind of thing, where they can go to the site, put down a special balloon, or some people put crosses, some people will put special flowers and things like that to kind of try to bring some kind of comfort from this.
And really, my other question is, how does this impact a community? You know, coming back to a workplace shooting, that's where you should feel safe. So, you know, what do you see?
Oh, that's correct. It's pretty hard for people to come back from them because you want there to be a sense of safety in your community. And when you have this happen, it brings quite a shock. It's horrifying for most people. Anybody from the person who's at the scene where it happens to the person who's listening to the news on TV, the senior citizen who's at home and has fear. You just have to work with these folks, decompress, take time to let them know that you're there for them. They're going to need some good time with somebody counseling, whether it's prayer, whether it's just someone being there to listen. I don't normally give advice at a scene. I just listen because there's not a whole lot you can say to a victim or a victim's family who's been involved in there, and nothing you're really going to say is going to bring comfort. You just have to kind of be there to hold them and listen to them.
Thank you so much, Chaplain Bob Osler. Once again, we appreciate your time as our community tries to heal from this mass shooting. And on this Friday, we'll continue to follow this developing situation. Stick with us online at WRTV.com for more information. And it is 6:27. Let's get a check of the weather now with Todd Clausen.
All right, and the weather department's all quiet this morning. That's the good news on this Friday as the sun comes up on the Circle City and all of central Indiana this morning. A beautiful sunrise in progress as you look from IMS back off towards the east. With that said, it is chilly out there this morning as we are looking at temperatures right now that are sitting in the 30s and 40s. Crawfordsville 32 degrees. It's 40 in Bloomington. 37 is the current temperature in Indianapolis. Now the good news is plenty of sunshine this morning. It's the brightest part of the day with the sunshine. Temperatures will moderate very quickly this morning through the 30s, through the 40s, and eventually into the 50s by the noon hour. Once we transition into the afternoon hours, though, you'll notice a little more in the way of cloud cover. It's not completely overcast, but we get into more of that filtered sunshine across the area. And with that, temperatures eventually top off right around 60 degrees, which is a few degrees below normal, but not all that bad. So all in all, it's a decent Friday. We do bring some spotty showers into the forecast for the weekend. More on that coming up in just a couple minutes.
From the station working for you, this is breaking news from WRTV.
We have located 8 people at the scene with injuries consistent to gunshot wounds. Those 8 were pronounced deceased here at the scene.
Officer Janae Cook called it a scene no one should have to face. And we continue to follow breaking news this morning. A deadly mass shooting at the FedEx facility near the Indianapolis International Airport. And this started around 11 last night when police were first called to the scene. In addition to the 8 people killed, several others are injured now. And the shooter died by suicide. I'm Megan Shin, and thank you for your time on this Friday morning. A very tragic situation. We'll check in with your weather and traffic update with meteorologist Todd Clausen in just a few minutes. But the scene is still unfolding this morning. So let's go live to Rafael Sanchez He has been there at the scene of the shooting, gathering information all morning long. Raphael, get us up to speed.
As the sun rises here in the Circle City, we are waking up to heartbreak in our hometown. Megan, as you mentioned, 8 people killed in this mass shooting at this FedEx ground building here on the city's southwest side. We're also now getting a much clearer picture on the number of people that were injured. 7 people were injured, 5 taken to area hospitals, 2 were treated on the scene. And just a few moments ago, Metro Police telling me that they plan to update this investigation at 10:30 this morning here on the city's southwest side. At that point, we may know the name of the suspect. We may get more details as to what unfolded here late last night. Let me take you to this map to show you exactly where this investigation is unfolding as we speak. Again, we are on the city's southwest side by the Ameriplex Parkway. That's on the 8,000 block of Mirabel Road. We're just about 3 miles from Indianapolis International Airport, an 8-mile drive from here to the airport. And this is the location where this situation unfolded last night at 11 when the first calls came in to the 911 operators. Reports of gunshots being heard not only outside but also inside the building. The chaos and the fear, the horror of what workers were experiencing just simply unimaginable as people were reporting, of course, those gunshots in the building, and they were hiding. They were running for cover. Some people hiding, I am told, underneath conveyor belts to shield themselves from the gunfire. As for the suspect, I am told that he was found, his body was found in a field not too far away from the facility, in a parking lot to be. In fact, he died by a suicide. And sources tell me that, of course, they found a weapon by his body. That weapon is being described as a long gun. That's the investigation. The investigation is unfolding. But our main concern right now is for all the families that are wondering exactly what happened, what is going on, and they are looking for accountability in this situation. Our Troy Washington, she continues our team coverage at a hotel not far from here with the very latest. Troy, fill us in.
Well, Raphael, I have to be honest with you. A moment of transparency. It's hard to report on this because you're here with the families and you see their frustration, you see their pain, you see confusion, but you also see them reunited with their loved ones after waiting for hours. And we've been out here since just after midnight with the families, watching them and seeing some of them pace and worry. And it's been really rewarding to watch some of them reunited, but it's also been hard to watch them wonder what's going on. Like we've mentioned, investigators have been talking to some of those employees and questioning them and just getting more insight on what actually went on at the facility. So I actually talked to a grandmother and we heard from her not long ago, and she talked about how she was praying the entire drive here as she wondered what's the fate of her grandson, who she just dropped off for work a few hours before. Here's what she had to say.
I'm trying to think about what, who in the world would do some stuff like that. I mean, there's enough shootings going on in this world, but we don't need this. For what? Yes, I've been praying ever since she told me when we got in the car. I just hope to God he okay.
And, she's not the only one thinking those things. A lot of people here, as I've mentioned, worry, pacing. And in fact, if you have not heard from your loved one and they did work at the FedEx facility, then you'll want to come here to the Holiday Inn Express right by the airport. That's right here on Stansted. If you have not heard from your loved one at this point, you're just tuning in, this is where you want to come to maybe get some answers regarding your loved one. Now, a lot of people, they've been here for hours and they're still waiting. Now, the receptionist desk, they've been fielding calls, people calling and asking, well, where do I go? How do I get answers? A lot of people just confused, but come here if you need to get some answers, maybe even some comfort. They do have chaplains here to kind of help through this process. Back to you, Raphael.
Troy Washington, thank you so much. Troy is with the families. A dark moment for those families, a dark moment for the people who work at this FedEx facility, but police are hoping to shed new light on their investigation in a couple of hours. And of course, Metro Police, the main law enforcement agency that is focused on this investigation. But we're now just getting word just moments ago that another agency is stepping in. This case is now getting stepped up as another agency will focus on this. Kelsey Anderson, you've been here with me for the last couple of hours. Fill me in. What's happening and who's stepping in?
Well, Raphael, we just learned that the FBI is now stepping in to help IMPD and state police with this investigation. So we want to kind of take you back as you're waking up this morning to what's happened overnight. So that shooting, those 911 calls started coming in around 11 o'clock. We've heard from IMPD twice so far this morning. The first time at 1 a.m., and that was 2 hours after those first calls. We got very little information then, just officers letting us know that there was an active shooting and that the alleged gunman had killed himself. Then at 3 o'clock, we got more information from Officer Janae Cook, and that is when she gave us some more information on those victims. We learned that 8 people were shot and killed inside that facility. They were pronounced dead here at FedEx. We learned that 5 people were transported to the hospital with gunshot wounds, and then 2 people were treated here at the scene by emergency services, and then they were released. So we do know all of that's happening right now, and there's still more pieces of this puzzle to put together, and that FedEx facility will be closed for quite some time. That's what Officer Cook is telling us, and she says we need to support each other throughout this entire process.
It is very heartbreaking. And you know, in the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, the officers responded. They came in, they went in, and they did their job. And a lot of them are trying to face this because this is a sight that no one should ever have to see.
Now, if you work here at that FedEx facility, like I mentioned, it's going to be closed for quite some time, late into the morning, probably into the afternoon, maybe later. So if you're expecting to go to work this morning, Officer Cook suggests you call your supervisor and see what's expected of you today. Now, we also know that if you were here last night during that and you fled for safety or for treatment, that police want to hear from you. Those numbers you can call right now. That's the homicide office is 317-327-3475, or you can call Crime Stoppers to call anonymously. That number, 317-262-8477. So again, a long road ahead for these investigators now with the FBI stepping in. So Raphael, tell us a little bit more about what we know is happening here at FedEx and what we can expect throughout the rest of the day.
Of course, the building is closed, as you mentioned. Behind us, you can see flashing lights. Police remain here on the scene. And just moments ago, we also are now hearing that the White House has reached out to Mayor Hogshead's office to discuss what is happening here, the contents of those discussions. We're still trying to figure out exactly what the mayor and the White House talked about. I'll get on the phone. I'll try to get more information by the time you see me again. But Megan, this remains an unfolding situation. More than likely, we will also hear from President Biden. He has spoken up and against these workplace violence situations across the country. We've had a number of mass shootings since the new year, so we expect to also hear from the president at some point later today about what's happening here in Indianapolis.
Raphael, thank you so much for being out there and for that extensive report. I know it's tough on the crews out there too, just emotionally as well as for the community. So we appreciate you guiding us through this. And really a big part of this is you were out there towards the beginning. So how is the feeling out there right now?
Well, the big concern will be, of course, a couple of things, right, Megan? Number one, the families. That's the biggest concern. Number two, the work saw something horrific, a nightmare of a day, of an evening here in this building. So their mental health becomes a priority. Then number three is the investigation, because police will want to find out exactly what happened, what caused this, who is the person responsible for this nightmare. Of course, the person died by suicide, so that part of the discussion really can't find out much from him, but there may be some emails or some discussions with workers. So those are the three main things: the people first, the investigation second, and of course we'll keep on top of both. I'm going to go ahead and call the mayor's office this morning to see what exactly was said between the White House and the mayor's office to find out exactly what can we expect in the hours to come. Megan, now back to you.
Ralph, thank you. And many people are waking up to that nightmare this morning. FedEx issued a statement on the shooting saying in part, quote, "Safety is our top priority and our thoughts are with all of those who are affected. We're working to gather more information and are cooperating with investigating authorities. And we have everything you need to know about this deadly mass shooting right now on our website, WRTV.com. And we're updating this story live as more information comes in, and we will be live streaming breaking news or new information we get at the scene just as soon as possible. And just go to WRTV.com and we will keep you updated as the story develops. Let's get a quick check of your forecast though this morning with meteorologist Todd Clausen.
Yeah, the skies are clear here this morning, Megan. Temperatures are a little chilly. A beautiful sunrise taking place now as you look from the IMS back towards downtown Indianapolis. Just a few fair weather clouds out there, but with the clear skies and the calm winds, temperatures are down into the mid 30s across the area. 37 in Indy, 34 in Kokomo. Bloomington right now is at 35 degrees. Radar is completely quiet. That's the way it stays throughout the entire day today, although we will see the clouds start to increase as the day goes on. The rain, though, that will hold off until at least tomorrow, and even when it arrives tomorrow, we're just talking about the chance of a spot shower or two here across the area. It'll be a beautiful start to our day. Despite the chill, we'll warm pretty quickly once the sun continues to get higher in the sky. 51 already by 11 a.m. and then high temperatures today will be right around 60 degrees. You will notice the clouds start to increase as the afternoon goes on. More on your weekend forecast and beyond coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues here in just a couple minutes.
We're continuing to follow breaking news at the FedEx facility near the airport where someone opened fire there late last night. And here's what we know so far. Metro Police were called to the facility around 11 last night. Officers say when they arrived on the scene, they found 8 victims with gunshot wounds. All 8 were pronounced dead. And police say the gunman died by suicide, also at the FedEx facility. Several others were injured by gunfire. And we're still waiting for word on how many people are being treated. And today's shooting is one of the deadliest mass shootings Indianapolis has seen so far. But this year has already been a violent one for the city. It includes another mass shooting just months ago that left 6 people dead. In January, police say a teenage suspect shot and killed 4 members of his family, his brother's girlfriend and her unborn child included. Raymond Ronald Lee Childs III now faces 6 counts of murder. A 15-year-old survivor says Childs got into an argument with his father because he left home without permission and would be in trouble later on. And just last month, 4 people were killed and a fifth was critically injured in a shooting on the east side that began as a domestic situation. Those killed in the shooting on North Randolph Street include a 7-year-old girl. Police arrested 25-year-old Malik Halfacre and charged him with murder in those shootings. Investigators say an argument over his former girlfriend's stimulus check allegedly led to that gunfire. We have much more on this developing story this morning out of the FedEx facility in Indianapolis. We'll go back to our Rafael Sanchez on the scene coming up in just a few minutes from now. Stay with us here on Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
Supervisor on the floor told the team lead, and team lead just let the message out to us. And then when we had our 15-minute break around 1 in the morning, they set us down in the break room, told us that basically the highways are closed off and we just had to stay inside.
Startled, shocked, saddened, the expressions of many of the people here at the FedEx ground building on the city's southwest side, where 8 people killed in a mass shooting. The gunman died by suicide. We're also finding out that 7 people were injured, 5 taken to local area hospitals, 2 were treated at the scene. The White House has reached out to Mayor Joe Hogsett to discuss what happened in Indianapolis this morning, and just a few moments ago, the mayor releasing a statement to WRTV calling what happened here senseless. We'll have much more of this developing story from the city's southwest side in just a few moments. Megan, now back to you.
Raphael, thank you so much. Definitely a developing situation. And we'll go back to you for the very latest coming up in just a few minutes now. But time now on this Friday is 6:49. So let's get a check of the weather with the forecast. Todd Clausen.
Yeah, beautiful sunrise taking place this morning. This view is in Bloomington. We showed you the view from IMS towards downtown Indianapolis, and this and across Monroe County. Hardly a cloud in the sky. Temperatures are chilly though this morning. 37 right now in Indy, but in Bloomington we're looking at a temperature of 35 degrees. Same for Bedford, and then as you work your way off to the east, Greenfield at 32, 34 in Richmond, as well as Greencastle, and then Peru at 33 degrees. Definitely need the jacket as you get going here this morning. There's just a few high thin clouds from Peru over towards Muncie. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies this morning. The first half of our day is going to be the brightest part of our day. We find ourselves wedged between two storm systems. This one with some snow in the northeast, and then our next storm system off to our west. Well, you'll see throughout the day today as the clouds start to make their way into the area, but the rain is going to hold off until tomorrow, and we're not going to get a lot of rainfall. The bulk of that moisture is going to pass down to our south. So for today, partly cloudy skies this morning with the sunshine right away. We'll warm quickly, 50 degrees already by 11 a.m., and then the clouds will start to increase this afternoon, 55 by 1 o'clock, and then high temperatures today will top off right around 60 degrees as we head into the 5 p.m. hour. No issues if you have any outdoor plans on this Friday. Now, overnight tonight, it does get cold once again. We're going all the way down into the 30s in all locations. In fact, some areas tomorrow morning could get down below the freezing mark. Not completely out of the question. A frost is likely in spots tomorrow morning, but tomorrow is the last of the really chilly mornings, at least for now. That cold air and temperatures in the 30s, as you'll see, my 7-day does come back the middle of next week. As far as the rain goes for tomorrow, it arrives towards daybreak. It's mainly only in southern locations, and it's all very, very light and spotty throughout the morning. I don't think you need to cancel any plans in those southern locations, but just know that there could be a few spotty showers to get your day going on Saturday. Otherwise, we are in good shape, just mostly cloudy skies and temperatures that'll be topping off in the 50s. Your 7-day planning forecast, more in the way of sunshine on Sunday at 60 degrees. Monday's the best day that we have at 64 with partly cloudy skies, and then we get back into the chilly weather. Tuesday and Wednesday, we may not even get out of the 40s. Tuesday could be potentially a pretty wet day for us, and it's the worst day in our 7-day planning forecast. And then there's those overnight lows Wednesday and Thursday morning that'll be down in the 30s. More on your forecast and your latest news headlines, including the mass shooting there at FedEx, coming up at just a couple minutes when Good Morning Indiana continues.
From a station working for you, this is breaking news from WRTV.
We continue to follow breaking news involving the horrific mass shooting here in Indianapolis. 8 people dead after that mass shooting here at the FedEx ground building, which happened overnight at 11. 8 people dead, 7 people injured, 5 taken to the hospital, 2 treated on the scene. The gunman died by suicide. And in the last half hour or so, we have some new developments. The FBI is now joining the investigation, which is being led by Metro Police. I can also tell you that the White House has reached out to Mayor Joe Hogsett. They have talked about the situation here in Indianapolis, and we are expecting to get an update on the police investigation coming up this morning at 10:30. That is the latest from the city's southwest side. Rafael Sanchez, WRTV.
Raphael, thank you. And this morning, Indianapolis residents are confronted with the horrific news of yet another mass shooting. An act of violence senselessly claimed the lives of 8 of our neighbors. As law enforcement works to learn more about this tragedy, we'll keep you updated. In a statement from Mayor Joe Hogsett, it says, "Our prayers are with the families of those whose lives were cut short. Thank you to all of our city's first responders for their tireless work overnight. Their quick response provided critical aid to those injured in the shooting and brought a measure of calm to the otherwise chaotic scene." Very tough morning, Todd, but let's get a check of the weather at 6:56 on this Friday.
Yeah, Megan, very, very tough here this morning all across the Circle City. The weather is pretty calm here this morning. A live look in Bloomington where the sun is coming up over the horizon and just a few fair weather clouds out there right now. And while temperatures that are in the 30s this morning, in fact, some areas are close to the freezing mark, so you'll definitely need to bundle up this morning as you get going. But the good news is temperatures do rebound this afternoon with increasing clouds. Though up to right around 60 degrees. Tomorrow, a few spotty showers, overall mostly cloudy, a high of 58. Sunday, 60 degrees with sunshine. And then as we get into Monday, Monday's the best day that we have in our next 7 days with a high of 64 and sunshine. Tuesday's probably the worst day with showers. It's very chilly, a high of only 51. And then pretty quiet Wednesday and Thursday of next week, but a little bit below normal, especially in the mornings when temperatures will be in the 30s once again.
Todd, thank you. And leaving you with a live look this morning on a very tragic and horrific day for the Hoosier community. Seeing the FedEx building in Indianapolis, the scene of the latest mass shooting. 8 people dead, a gunman dead as well in this situation. We hope you guys take care of yourselves and each other on this Friday. We'll continue to follow this as we go into Good Morning America. We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with the latest news, weather, and traffic updates. And remember, all your news throughout the day can be found on the WRTV app. Have a good day.